Hello and welcome to the ACCSimSeries, and this is the 6 hours of Silverstone, part of our sort of new series of team events. It's, I believe, the third team event we've done, and it is the longest at 6 hours. I am Gareth Fronther, and for the start of the race, I'm going to be joined by Lars Kastrup. How are you, Lars?
Actually good, considering it's a Sunday in Britain.
Yes, absolutely. And apparently the weather is glorious around Silverstone, and so we should be having a nice dry race. No issues for our drivers, who are always complaining whenever it's wet.
And they're always complaining when it's Silverstone because it's usually wet.
Absolutely, and we've done a lot of Silverstone in ACCSS. It was one of the it was our first endurance race. It was in our first series.
Oh god, yeah.
We've done an absolute ton round here. Our first multi-class race, and it's because many people like me absolutely adore the track. How do you feel about it, Lars?
I've said it before in private, and we've had some fights about it, but I do think it's a terrible track.
He's a heathen. That's what we're saying, ladies and gentlemen.
It's just flat.
It is flat. That's a downside that I will admit. It's not the most undulating track. We're not getting any Portimao roller coasters going on, but I think it's a fantastic layout for racing. It's got those interlocking sections that you need at a good racetrack, the driving sections where it's all about just getting the most time out of your car, and then the racing sections where you can go side by side, take different lines, corners like Stowe. And great, the session is rolling over to start, which means we are going to be able to start looking at...
Now, in Silverstone's defense, it's a good track, it's not that, but I don't like it.
That is fair enough.
I mean, I love tracks with heights and stuff, so that's just me.
Yep.
Going up, down, left, right, all that.
So here we are. This is Silverstone, as you can see, as we are preparing for the race start. No time to go around Silverstone, but I'm sure you all know Silverstone by now. As I've said, we've been around here an absolute ton.
Even if you haven't seen it in this series, you've seen it elsewhere, because it's just a classic one. It's just a classic track, right?
Yep. So our team that is on pole is the team right now driven by Dan Terry. Not the person who did the pole lap isn't always in the car, so that's going to make the start of this race very interesting, because we're going to see some of the slower guys being up the front right now.
Yes, indeed.
And their faster teammates hopping in later. Dan Terry was not actually meant to start for his team. The pole sitter, Ashley Blumfield, was meant to start, but he has literally only just arrived in his house, and he didn't have time to set everything up, I believe. But we then have Brian Cham up behind him. Andrew Hearn in third position. We'll have a little... should have a little grid.
I'm very familiar with. He was in my split all season.
Yep. So, I have it way too fast as always. Ashley Blumfield, here we go. Ashley Blumfield is now in the car, which is good. He's switched over just for the start of the race. Cham next to him, Brian Cham, Andrew Hearn in the McLaren. We then have Jessett in the Aston Martin. I believe that is David Jessett, Coach Jessett, as we're all fans of. Keith Griffel in the McLaren next to him with Fiek Farad in an Aston Martin. Very nice Aston Martin. You can see a trend here in cars, which, I'm not the biggest fan of, but we have a couple of cars here. Two McLarens following up behind with McVeigh from our Americas gang and Soul Chrome. Mumbawashi.
Ergo Chandi, we agreed on.
I've practiced his name before, but it's been a while.
We can do it. Don't worry.
and
that's just typical server stuff. Everyone disappeared.
Server stuff is happening, but we can still look down the list. You can see we've got a lot of McLarens, a lot of Aston Martins, and a few Bentleys.
I wonder why.
And that is basically it. And this is the problem with doing a single race thing, right? This is the problem with just doing an event.
Also, with the fact that we said British cars only, but,
British GT cars only, wasn't it?
Yeah, maybe that's actually something like that. In any case, the server is restarting for the second time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll just like to say thank you for the follow, Squeaky TV.
Yes, everyone. There was a few people who followed during our intro. Very glad to see you there. We obviously ACCSimSeries, and we do a lot more than just these few endurance races.
Actually, we mostly do sprint races, so...
Yep, we have our regular championship series, which goes on Friday, Saturday, and Sundays, and the new season of that will be starting next week, and that is where most of our streams are. So if you do enjoy today's broadcast and you want to come around and watch some more with us, then that is where you will most likely find us. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on this channel doing the regular series.
Yes, with me hosting the Fridays, Dan hosting Saturdays, and you hosting Sundays, if I'm not wrong.
I believe that is correct, yes.
Right, so we're just getting a word here. The server will be restarted, and now actually, and then we'll skip to the race.
Yep, skip straight to the race. Obviously, these things happen when we're running our own servers. Normally, we run with the help of simracing.gp. And I didn't realize when we started doing this how much help they were. But
pretty useful.
Since we started running our own servers, God, I love them. So most of our events, absolutely seamless because they're just running through there. But for the team events, for now, we're having to go with our own. They've gone very well so far. We haven't had any server crashes or anything. Once the race has started, it's normally pretty good. Any of the technical issues we see will likely be due to just people server disconnecting and the way Kunos's team thing works. It's quite awkward. We need to make sure that the first driver of each team gets in first, and so everyone needs to make sure to not panic and just jump into the server and wait for their team to be in order. Once we have
just expect at least one restart, because I've even on big leagues and the big games, something breaks at some point. It's just the rule of law.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got 2 races today, actually, but we're only broadcasting the first race.
Yep, there are 2 servers going to be going on. I believe one slightly delayed from the other. We are looking in server 1, as obviously we can't end up doing both servers.
But we do have timings for both servers, right?
Yes, I believe so.
If you can bring those up, actually. And while you do that, I'll just talk. Obviously, me and Gareth will be starting in the booth. We'll be joined by Dan and Mihai Hoinarescu at some point. So it's going to be a bit liquid, so to say. Fluid. Because, I mean, no one wants to sit here for 6 hours straight, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to hopefully have a few people jumping in. It's going to be good. Yes, so exclamation mark timings in the chat. It does work how I thought it worked. Just need to check that. That will bring you to pitwall.live, who are our timings partner. And then if you click on the channels list on the left-hand side of that, you will see ACCSS Server 1 and Server 2. And once the race started, you can hop into those. Obviously, we will not be able to capture absolutely everything. Huge server, 6 hours, multiple servers, and so if there's anyone that you are here to see particularly, head over to pitwall.live and follow on with how they are doing.
Because we will also absolutely look at your guys, so...
Yep, if they're in server 1, we will try to keep up with how everyone's doing. We don't actually have too many drivers. We normally have a lot more than this in our regular season stuff. Well, a lot less drivers, but a lot more teams, as it were, as teams of 1 driver.
We're pretty used to having 40 car grids, but today we have 25, so that's manageable.
Yes, exactly. So we are back into a little bit of free practice, where we can just have a look at some of the cars and teams. Obviously, making sure everyone's got in, everyone's loaded before the race starts.
That's a pretty good thing.
This event obviously had qualifying server, which has been up for a few months, honestly, at this point. It feels like it's been up for ages. And then Super Pole was yesterday, where the top 10 from each server competed in Super Pole. So you're going to see the teams here. I believe it is this team.
Yeah, number 888. Nope. That's not true, yeah.
This is Team 52, I believe. This is the team.
Yeah, I'm looking at the wrong display, sorry.
If I go timetables, you can see the whole team. It is. So this team, Team 10, Jack Winter, Mihai, who's going to be on the broadcast later, and Paul Greatix. These guys managed to bin their Super Pole lap on the first corner. It was invalidated. So that's why they are in 10th. Obviously thrown down the server order a little bit. But we have the team of Tom Tweedy, Nicholas Alvarado, Christian Mayer, Luca Rene, Martin Butterman, Giorgio Brioski, Mark Anthony Laundry, Justin Kirk Heath, I almost called him Keekurth, and Mihai Horanovsky, who are our Super Pole sitters. These guys competed in the one-shot qualifying that happened. And have got these places on the grid. Everyone else's grid spots were put there due to
various incidents, basically.
Yeah, due to the overall qualifying on the server. You can see the Pro and Am categories split perfectly because we split them after qualifying, so we could do that. And you can see, obviously, the best new skin added to the game, the King's Meat Snacks, leading up the grid. In the hands of Tom Tweedy. So let's have a look back at the timetable so you can see a few more of the team names for some of you. You can see there is a 4-man team there. There is a couple of 2-man teams going at it hard. And yeah, so many names to go through. I'm not sure how our broadcast tool is going to handle a lot of these names. So
it's going to be fun.
Apologies if later on in the race we start getting a little bit confused with exactly where everyone is.
Actually, we're gonna get confused no matter what. So we'll just look at the numbers, right?
Yeah, we'll try to deal with the numbers. Obviously, as we mentioned before, Pitwall.live can keep you up to date on a lot of these things, possibly
On
better
both
than we can at
races.
times for both races.
I am currently looking at the tracker for race 2, and nothing is happening.
Nope. I believe race 2 should start a little bit after where we are. So any of these teams, looking at the names that you are interested in, that you want to see doing well, or that you think will make a run through the field?
Oh, that's a good question. This is the names that I'm really interested in, because I was the Silver Split host
Broadcaster,
last season.
yeah.
Broadcaster, that's a good word. So obviously I want to see those guys do well, like car number 60 with the 2 Sikansis in them.
Sikansis, nice.
Yeah.
Are those two brothers, or?
I actually don't know, but I know one of them is an okay driver.
Nice.
And I would presume that means there are 2 Sikansis.
We also have the two Tans in car number 250, starting in 16th position. One I think will be good to watch is the 240 in 11th position with Dan Terry, Ashley Bloomfield, and Shane Thomas, because
might be biased because it's our guys.
Well, also because these guys have slightly stacked their team, because Ashley Bloomfield and Shane Thomas are both drivers that have been banned from the regular season for being too fast.
Yeah, and for some reason they aren't banned today. Weird.
Yeah,
we banned a lot of people for being too fast.
Absolutely. People didn't quite read the rules, I think, and went a bit too hard in the qualifying server, perhaps. And some of these guys set a quick time and were like, that's good enough. That's good enough, I think.
Good enough.
Yeah. We've got 2 Van Hooks as well in the 28 McLaren in 8th position with Justin Clark and Tim Groskamp.
Let's see. Oh, car number. Let me just count. 323. Which is, of course, 2 of my homeboys, Strasser and Werner.
Yep. Julian Strasser, Adam Rayner, and Jose Martinez in 24th position on the grid in the car 323 as we start the formation lap.
I will just make a noise here.
Yep. The last team I want to shout out is the team in 2nd position, the 420 car. Oh, Nicholas Alvarado, Max Diggs, and Sadie, who I can't remember his middle name, sorry brother. These are some of our Americas drivers in the New World Racing League, which is our sister league, which deals with the American times. And so, good to see them still competing in some of our events.
Now, but let's just see car number 66. Have they forgotten to press drive?
Oh.
That would be the first of many mistakes, I assume, today.
Absolutely, they are still in the pit, so it does look like they've forgotten to press drive. Not the worst event to do it on, as you're going to have so much time. But still, not something that you want to do. So as we're coming around for the end of this formation lap, we're just going to take a quick break and show you guys a quick little advert to give you an idea of what ACCSS is about. Hello and welcome back. We are coming through the middle sector of the track now on our formation lap. ready to start the 6 hours of Silverstone. Obviously, it being an endurance race, we are hoping not to have any incidents on our first lap, but we do have stewarding just for the start of the race. Live stewarding will be there
Just
for lap one. Yeah, to make sure to get any of those big incidents out of the way early. After that, it will go down to the traditional team endurance event sort of style of drivers reporting any incidents that they are caught up in. They have a form to do so, and then stewards will look at that afterwards.
But obviously, our stewards are driving, so
yes.
It's going to be a bit difficult.
Yeah, so they won't be getting to penalties during the race. 5 mandatory pit stops, as you can see on the side, on the tower.
And someone is asking, are there ballast on the Mclarens? And I don't think so.
Nope, no ballast. As a rookie league, I don't think we really need to worry too much about ballast. The Mclarens are the best car around here, but there's always a best car around some tracks, and with people who aren't in the alien class, like sometimes it just comes down to what you're more comfortable in. So wouldn't be surprised if we don't see a McLaren winning as we're coming over to the start line.
That's Dan showing up with some cash for some reason.
Yeah, Tom Tweedy leading the field away, got a huge start there, really nice, as Nicholas Alvarado is comfortably taking second, side by side, everyone around there. We're actually getting a bit of free wide further back. That looks like Ashley Bloomfield going in the middle of Jack Winter and Cham Cham.
Yeah.
Gonna be much braver there into the first part of Maggots as he's taking another position. Cham Cham getting the jump on the McLaren behind him as well, but the McLaren fighting back and staying side by side with him as they all start to funnel out of Chapel. No huge instance now. There's a couple people getting a little bit wiggly further back in the field, and up at the front we're starting to get some fighting as Nicholas Alvarado is leading. So he's taken a place there off of Tom Tweedy, and we now have a couple of guys running down to Vale.
It's so far so good.
Yeah, nice and clean. You can see Bloomfield already jumped a few places.
Oh,
now...
here we go. There's one guy. I saw one McLaren go off-road.
Yep, number 27, Scott Walker, has as an Aston Martin has been thrown off.
I did Aston, but I saw definitely saw a McLaren go off too.
Well, whoever it was has managed to jump on nice and quickly as Nicholas Alvarado still leads this race through the first lap. He's followed right behind by another 2 Astons of Tom Tweedy and Christian Mayer. And these guys are going to start leading the pack further down. Ashley Bloomfield has made up an absolute ton of positions on these first times. He's come up from 11th to 6th as behind him you see the Aston Martin of Werner going around Laundry there. It's going to be side by side into the last corner, and this is a corner where you do want to go a bit wide, but it's hard to keep around someone else. He'll have a little bit more speed coming out of it, but that won't help him because there's this big Bentley in his way which he can't get past.
Oh, 1 lap down, and no one died. Well, kinda.
One person sort of died, but he's back. He's not even in last because the 66 McLaren forgot to press drive. We've got a few AMs moving their way up the field. You can see you just sneaking their way inside of the pro field, but other than that, still keeping quite steady on our positioning. And now we'd say our drivers need to settle down, but they're not going to. We're going to still see some action, I'm sure, as Tom Tweedy's following Nicholas. Actually, this is Mayer going on Tom Tweedy now.
Yeah.
The Meat Snacks car not doing as well as its excellent livery suggests it should, and Bloomfield making its way all the way up to 5th position now. Really showing how out of place they were on the grid, having not made it to Super Bowl. So Christian Mayer still right on the back of Tom Tweedy. If he thinks he's faster, he's going to want to get by as soon as possible so we can start following Nicholas, but obviously not risking anything because any sort of incident here is going to lose you a ton of time, and people with more consistency will just take over you, even if you're faster at that point. But
okay, we have a crash. It is the ACCSimSeries number 60 went into the gravel trap. They're fine, but, well, not how to start a race.
Absolutely not. As we've seen people like Mayer sticking his nose in here and there, trying to be a little bit aggressive, but not making any crazy moves of it so far, which is nice to see. Jack Winter, now we're looking at the 52 in 13th position, is pushing on Jack Tyler. It's going to go round onto the inside in the last corner, but once again, this is the other side of that incident I was talking about before, where he didn't manage to put his car in front of the other car, and so the other car just had more momentum going around the wider side of that corner. Not an easy place to make a move happen if you don't get the move done in the first part of the corner there. So here, Christian Mayer has managed to get side-by-side for Tom Tweedy, actually through Maggots and Beckett's, and that's incredible. That's really slowing them down, and that has put Ashley Bumford right into this. Going to be able to almost go 3 wide there, down the stretch towards Stowe, side by side into Stowe. Obviously many lines you could take through this corner, so they'll both be fine here, not losing much time at all.
Okay, we have a pit stop already.
It's a rub, yep.
I don't think it's voluntary though.
The 160 is hopped into the pits as we see the two Astons still fighting, Chris Mayer and Tom Tweedy, who are now behind Ashley Blumfield, who's managed to squeeze past them. Brioche and Eric are both behind them, going very wide there from Brioche. And we've got a whole NASCAR pack here coming down as Tom Tweedy just clips in front of Christian Mayer going into the middle section of the track. As we look back a little bit, we've got this lovely pack going on here all the way back to Afiq Farid, I believe. Oh, and a big tap there from one of the Bentleys. That's the 68 Bentley into the side of the 711. Cham has hit Laundry and has fallen back a few positions now. Up into the heady cam, you can see here Kirk Heath is fighting with the McLaren. So that's the McLaren of Van Hoek. He was trying to get around that car, but didn't quite manage to. And behind them, the Aston Martin of Taylor is being pressured by Winter, who's trying to go around the outside into the last corner. Lots of people trying to make moves at this last corner, which is not hugely working out for anyone.
I think the number 160 car is having connection issues because it is back online, actually. Trying to get a confirmation on that.
Yeah, really unfortunate to have those technical issues, especially so soon in the race. Although you could argue you'd rather have it soon, perhaps, than waiting into the race a long time before it strikes, as Nicholas Alvarado now, our leading driver, is taking the his place away from the packs as Keith Griffel is off in the gravel. Let's start utilizing some of these replays, and let's do that. Let's see how that ended up happening. So we're going to be in a replay with Keith Griffel here. He's just coming around a slow Aston Martin there. Cuts into the first corner and just loses it on his own. You could see there the back was wanting to step out. He was right on the limit of the grip there. Looks like he was getting a little bit of a slide. And just overcorrected and threw himself off into the gravel. Yeah. Very easy to do.
So yeah, number 52 is getting a penalty. Well, it hit some people. And then weirdly enough, car number 7 has gone into the gravel without us seeing it.
Stefan Kufen right at the back, making a little bit of a mistake there as we are watching Edgar Eric, who is following the back of the train of Aston Martins. This is Tom Tweedy and Christian Mayer, who have been locked in combat throughout this race. They are the last two to have not really pulled away as they are coming to the end of their third lap.
Right, on server 2, they are just about to start the race, actually.
Nice. Try and keep up with some of the action further back as well. Normally, obviously, you want to focus on the people who are going to be fighting for the win of the race, but there's so long to go now that should make sure to give everyone some shine. Loving the livery there from Scott Walker, who's behind Axel Johansson, who we are looking at now in the very traditional modern Aston Martin livery. So I guess not very traditional, but he's behind our friend Julian Strasser, who I believe is streaming the entirety of his team's race. So if you want to see from a team's perspective, there's one of them that you can go head out and check out.
Okay, number 160 is moving again under a new number. So I think they've had some login issues.
Yeah. Or could be an issue
now
from
the
the
car
race.
safety again. It's weird. And sadly it happens a lot in this game.
Yeah, you can... We'll normally see only one or a race in these events from my experience, but it does happen as we're watching what happened to Jonathan Werner, and it's an exact replica of what we saw happening to Keith Griffel. The same oversteer, the same overcorrection, and that just shows how easy it is to do.
Yeah, I expect to see that a lot today.
Yeah, absolutely. It is the that McLaren. A lot of people have described them as designing it from their Formula 1 knowledge as if they were designing Formula 1 cars. We see Christian May actually does make the dive there. Huge move, and that's what I've been saying about this last corner. It's so hard to make a move here if you're trying to make a move around the slow sweeping long bit, but if you can dive into the first part of the corner, you can make it, and that is exactly what Christian May just did, as there is a fight brewing behind them as well. Yurik is just pulling out ahead of them, but the two Bentleys now, Laundry and Brioche, the leading Bentleys, are having their own little fight in this pack.
Right, so Sikansi has gone off track again. This time into a wall. So
let's see what happened here.
I don't know. It's they're parked pretty weird.
Sikansky Racing Team coming down the Wellington Straight, and that looks like some sort of tech issue there.
Yeah, that like the wheel just gave up midway, mid straight.
Yeah,
they're still parked, so that is perhaps 2 retirements already.
She's very unfortunate. So we're seeing at the front this battle between Christian May and Tom Tweedy still raging. We have the two Bentleys still right in front of each other. We have generally, though we've had a few probably retirements, and you can see a little trail there of cars who've made mistakes early on in the race, we actually still have quite a nice amount of people still holding together. We have this great little pack back here of 4 cars just all right on each other. The 2 Bentleys of Heath and Cham Cham, with McVeigh, another one of our America's drivers, who's trying to make a move there in the McLaren, in the Tron McLaren, just ahead of Solchrome in the white McLaren. Oh, looks like he was sort of going for a bit of a switchback there, but it's an incredibly tight corner where you come right in to take that loop before you hit to Aintree. Nothing happening there, and that's allowing Heath to stretch his legs a little bit away from this pack.
You would probably like that.
Absolutely.
So, and while we're having a bit of a lull, race 2, quick update. The first few laps have been done. Alex Jennings is leading in front of Taylor Clark and Adam Cavallo. So that's a clean race, and I've disconnected, haven't I?
No, I don't think so.
Am I still with you, Gareth?
I can still hear you. You should be fine.
Yeah, because I just disappeared while talking.
Discord is having its issues today, but
having issues. But as I was saying, race 2 is going smooth and fine. Car number 14 is leading car 237 and car 690. That's what I wanted to say.
Yep.
There.
Lovely. As we are heading into the towards the 7th lap now, and Ashley Blumfield is starting to put pressure on Nicholas Alvarado for the lead of this race. And with the pace these guys... Oh, maybe a bit too much there, having to catch it coming out of the F1 start. But with the pace these guys are showing, I'm worried these guys might be making it a bit of an easy race. We're going to have to hope that one of the team manages to bin it in a big way, perhaps. Nicholas Alvarado doing his best to hold this guy off, though. Nicholas Alvarado
will probably bin it.
Yeah, Nicholas Alvarado not a lot slower than these guys, so he is going to be able to put up a good fight, especially in this first stint. I obviously, being on European time, I have not managed to do as much racing with the Americas guys, so I don't know the pace of the others. But Alvarado will definitely hold his own. Incredibly fast driver. Although, big news for anyone who is a regular watch of our stream, Alvarado does have a wheel now.
Wow.
He is no longer the keyboard and mouse king, and so he's probably still in the adjustment time from that. He's been saying he's been finding it a bit harder to hit those times he was hitting, and he probably doesn't quite have the consistency, weirdly, at least not yet. But he's already showing by how he's pulled away from the rest of the pack here that he's been putting in the time. Jody said he's been loving being able to play other games. He was sort of stuck to this as it has decent non-wheel support, and all the cars have full traction control and ABS. But now he can try some other sims, which is good for him. So we're going to sit on board with this battle for a little bit.
Sikansi is coming back on track after 3 laps.
We actually have no one in the pits right now, which did
no,
I think 160 might have DC'd.
No, because they were actually on track for a moment and left again. I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah, I think that might be them testing if their issue's fixed and realizing it's not, because they seem to have fully left the server now, unfortunately. So that is one down. But the rest of our drivers are on track in some form or another, as we have this fight for the lead going on, and a few fights we'll keep up with going back. Tom Tweedy has fallen off the back of Christian Mayer and is now being pressured by Mark Anthony Laundry in the Bentley. So the first of the Bentleys up in 5th position. And the first of the McLarens, Edgar Urick, up in 6th position. And we've got this sort of pack here, which is the second real pack going in. And then behind them, we have this huge pack here. Quite a few cars coming back from Herf to about Taylor. So we're coming up to Stowe with our leaders. We'll make sure to keep a look at these guys whenever they're getting to possible overtake zones. We do have the replays, which is very nice, because the most recent endurance races we've been doing are the SEC, where we've still been allowing custom liveries, and thankfully we've stopped that. I think I'm the only person in the world to say thankfully we've stopped that, but it does very much hinder the broadcast. So, as a broadcaster, thankfully we stopped that. As a driver, it is sad. I am sad that we've lost the custom liveries.
As a broadcaster, it just worked for me, but that's just me being weird, I guess.
It's very nice as long as you don't have to use any replays.
I guess, yeah.
And in these endurance races especially, it is very nice to be able to have those, because we're not going to catch everything, and I'm going to be able to hop into a replay of an instant like this if we don't see it. Tom Tweedy really getting pushed by Laundry, not going to lose it there, going to keep the inside line, and Laundry's going to have to give it up, because you cannot go side by side through Aintree like that.
So apparently we have our first protest of the day.
Nice.
In the form of number 62.
Oh, and then it's Laundry there. Mark Anthony getting really oversteery there. Manages to catch it. Incredibly good job for him. You can see him wiggling a little bit through a couple of these corners. Not quite got back into comfort yet, and is going to have really heated those tyres in that and perhaps dirtied them up a bit. But great catch there from Laundry to not absolutely throw that in the bin, as it were. Gonna maybe be good for him to calm down a little bit now, but he's actually going to just be pushing immediately. Following really tight through Magnussen Beckers. We've got a whole train of people here looking to make up on any incident that is made by these front runners. So they've got to make sure that if they're going to do it, they're going to do it cleanly. Up at the front, just judging by the minimap, it looks like Nicholas Alvarado is getting a bit of a better run out of Magnussen Beckers each time because the ACCSS boss's team with Ashton Bloomfield driving right now is not catching up to him really in that area.
No.
He's very close to him through other parts of the track, as is Laundry right there, very close to the back of Tom Tweedy. Let's try and have
As I was saying, number 62 has protested a move by number 150. Apparently they collided at some point.
So 62 is this black and purple Bentley that's right in the middle of this pack right now. And I've actually just seen Earth hasn't gone off. So we're going to have a real quick replay at that, as I caught it. Oh, not quite a long enough replay, but he does have a bit of duck on his nose
right
there. Yeah,
and that's an interesting rejoin, but
yeah, there was no one there, so I think that's okay.
Hey, Werner is in the pits.
Werner that is the number 10 car. Hopefully, just taking an early mandatory pit stop. He is.
Yeah, it does seem like it.
So the first person to take an official pit stop here is the team number 10 of Jonathan Werner. They are. Yeah, there we go. Jonathan Werner and Butterman. That is one of our two-man teams taking their first pit stop. Obviously, 5 mandatory pit stops. So could do basically one on the end of every hour, it seems. But you actually need to get one more in than that. So it's not quite that. You need to do a bit more than that. But now we have that lime green McLaren coming back out in 23rd position. So, where is Christian Mayer? Christian Mayer has actually managed to pull away from Laundry, as Laundry was having those incidents. Tom Tweedy, that's the one we needed to look at. Tom Tweedy has fallen down the order, so let's hop back in time a little bit to see some of his running here. He's already lost it to Laundry here, and he's now getting pressured by the McLaren that's just behind him.
Yeah.
The leading McLaren.
Oh, that's a bump. I'm pretty sure Tweedy definitely hit someone there. Oh, there is a 4-car crash now around Tweedy.
Yep, we're in the replay right now, watching Tom Tweedy. And here he is coming through Stowe. He's just... Looks like the McLaren was trying to dive in there, but doesn't manage to make a move. We're just going to see where Tweedy... goes slow, and then we can hop into a replay of whatever incident is happening now. Oh, he goes really deep into that last corner. That's how he gets wrecked there. He's now side by side with the McLaren, trying to pull himself out of that. And the Aston just dives around him because he just doesn't have the pace there at all. We see Tweedy there in our quick glimpse of real time going into the pits.
He took a lot of damage.
So now we are watching the next replay.
And Van Cook is going into the pits because he's sideways.
So, right... Oh, there we go. Yeah, he taps that McLaren on the back there and then gets a second hit into him as he's trying to come into the loop and gets wiggled on the back there, losing more places. And then the McLaren spins. The McLaren spins right in front of him, and he pile drives into the side of him. This is what Lars was getting excited about while we were in that replay. That is a big hit. That is a absolute chonk to the front of that car. 2 McLarens spun round as well. I didn't see them touch each other either, so it looks like maybe they were both just getting a bit excited, trying to make positions out of loop.
But I can confirm that Tweedy is going to get a 5-second penalty for that. For the first one, at least.
First bit, yeah. And the slow speed stuff there is where the McLarens are not at their greatest on this track. There's only
may have
really,
been a racing incident.
Yeah, there's only really one bit of that. So, and we've just caught back in time to see Ashley Bloomfield tapping the back of Nicholas Alvarado and sending him around. And it looks like he's trying to let the car past. He has let Nicholas pass, but that has also let Christian Mayer pass up into the lead of the race because of that incident there.
All right, if I'm just going to interrupt, sorry. Number 62 is going to get a 10-second penalty for tapping number 28.
Okay, number 28 is Van Hoek.
That is Van Hoek, who spun around earlier. Or apparently it's 28 who... Their notes are a bit weird about it, but someone definitely hit someone. and I'm going to take our first pit stop, actually, because someone just brought me lunch.
Absolutely, no worries, as we are...
So I'll be a bit quiet for a few minutes.
As we've got a sudden rise of action, thankfully, after 30 minutes here. I'm very happy with that. As I was saying about the McLarens as well, the McLarens are good at this track, as people were saying in chat earlier, mainly because they are very nice at the high-speed stuff. They have that big aero setup, which is one of the reasons why we see them losing it when they get right on the edge of it, because as soon as you lose some of that aero, you do lose a lot of grip. You do not have that stable mechanical base to work with, but also... they are not great at the slow points, which is why they're good at this track, because there's only really loop, but we did just see 2 McLarens spinning in loop, and so that is a place where I wouldn't be surprised to see a few of them making mistakes, as now we have a shook-up order at the front of our race. You can see Christian Mayer out there leading, but Nicholas Alvarado and Ashley Bloomfield right behind him, and they're now both going to want to be trying to get past not just each other, but the Aston Martin in front of them. Christian Mayer looking back at the 2 cars in his mirror, and you can just see the leading Bentley Laundry there behind them, who is doing a really good job. He's managed to break away from that pack behind him and really start catching up to these guys. Behind them, Afiq Farad and Yurik are the next 2 fighting. It's lovely black and gold Aston.
Sorry, I'm just going to interrupt here. Shane Thomas has insulted Alvarado on Discord. He has said some unsavory things about his mother. Now you know that.
Okay.
Important knowledge.
Important interruption there. That is Shane Thomas clearly saying back Alvarado's favorite explanation of not hate, but a frustration that he sometimes blurts out with when he's had a crash. Good old Spanish phrase, as we are now looking at Jack Taylor, who's having his own little fight with Charlie Martin. Side by side there behind, that is not that is Jack Winter and is it Solchrome? No, that must be a back marker. Okay, yeah, the number 10 car, is he or is he a front somewhere? Where's the number 10 car on my list? Yeah, he is a back marker. That's Martin Butterman, who was in 23rd. They have already pit, and Butterman actually was not the driver in the first stint, so they've already done a driver change as well. Not sure if Butterman was meant to start the race and just couldn't get into the car then, but he is now in the car. The other car to a pit is obviously Thomas Tweedy. Tom Tweedy is still in the car, at least as the UI shows me so far, obviously pitting for that bit of damage that they sustained. Some big battles here going on in the middle of the field. It looks like quite a few guys close together, so we should keep our eye on some of these as well. We're seeing the two Bentleys there. That's Brioche and Cham Cham ahead of these guys, who are giving each other a bit of a tussle. Two Mclarens just behind them. These are the third and fourth Mclarens of Solcombe and Winter. Solcombe, the third position in AM so far. Here is Edgar Europe, still chasing down Afik Farad. This is the fight just behind the lead fight. It's the lead fight getting very close, but not between the people we've seen it getting close before. Nicholas Alvarado is being pressured by Mark Anthony Laundry. Ashley Bloomfield has managed to get safely past him this time and is making his way towards the leader of the pack, Christian Mayer. Alvarado, having been pressured, knocked about and overtaken, trying to get back on his feet and find his rhythm as this big Bentley's bearing down behind the last podium position in the race so far. And Mark Anthony's really making a nice run of it. He's staying close behind Alvarado every single point. Little bit too deep there, as I say that.
And I am back. Fried noodles with chicken, for anyone wondering.
Lovely. And the 52 car, Jack Winters there, coming into the pit. Got quite a battered up nose. He's one of the McLarens who was caught in that incident that we saw with Tom Tweedy. He's also got 5 seconds, so yeah. He seems to be the one who tapped the other McLaren around, perhaps. And by the front of his nose, he definitely hit someone with the front of that McLaren. And is going to serve that penalty and get his pit stop out of the way.
He certainly didn't hit a wall, because they're not there, so...
Yeah, quite a way to most of the walls here, as Ashley Bloomfield is pulling up on the leaders. And is that Mark Anthony having taken Alvarado? It is. Let's hop into that replay and see what's happening. So you're on board with Mark Anthony moments ago as he was following Nicholas Alvarado through Maggots and Beckett's. So this is gonna, looking like it could have been a traditional Stowe pass. Making up a lot of distance on the Aston Martin ahead, and that's going to give him a really nice run into Vale. Defensive driving from Alvarado, but the Bentley absolutely throws it into the corner, stays around the outside nice and clean and super tight into the next corner. Really nice work done there by the 711 Bentley.
That's how you do it.
Who brings himself up onto the overall podium, the first of the Bentleys, the first non-Aston on the podium. Great to see.
I am absolutely sure the Bentley boys will love it.
Yeah, all the Bentleys will be shouting and cheering. Bentley's not doing too bad. It seems like it's a good job we didn't give any of the McLarens ballast for picking the OP car. They are not doing well. Uric, McVeigh, and Solochrome, the only 3 McLarens with the 405, 187, and 69 who are in the top 10. The rest of them 17th and lower. Bentley's having a decent spread out across the field. The Aston seeming to do the best so far, but we do also just have some of our our best regular drivers happen to drive the Aston, so
Yeah, I mean, you can't say anything about the cars at this point in the race.
yeah.
But there is a fight for P16. Van Hook and Walker are, well, they're nose to tail, basically. Well, they were before, at least.
Absolutely. Coming through the straight towards Stowe. Got a couple of little pairs still hanging about, which is nice to see.
And Herger is supposed to get a 10-second penalty for this, for an earlier incident, though, but hasn't actually come in yet.
Julian Strasser just ahead is chasing down Alex Johansson. Another one of the Bentleys looking to move up positions. And then we have this nice, strong pack here that's still been running of these 2 Bentleys and 2 McLarens from all the way from Cham Cham in 8th down to Taylor in 11th. These guys keeping nice and tight with each other. And as we are saying this, Ashley Bloomfield is also catching right up on the leaders, as it looks like a back marker being passed, the car number 52 being passed by the 3rd and 4th position cars.
You know, Kiwikaki in the chat has a point. Real loud, Gareth.
All right.
There we go. Consumer service.
That might be too loud.
We'll find out.
But
anyway, Van Hook has gone past Walker for 16th now.
There we go.
And old Raytrix has made it into a car.
Ooh, and here we have Bloomfield making the move on Mayer as well. He's gone side by side through the loop. And really close to each other. Side by side down the straight. Ashley's just a little bit ahead. He also has the inside line, so he is going to take a quite easy run in there as long as he can keep these corners right. But he's got really wide, and that's let Christian Mayer right past again and undone all his good work. He's still looking for it on the inside, but there's a really tight corner going into here, so he probably doesn't want to stick his nose in. He's actually going right on the curb to try and stay around there. Christian giving him a nice amount of room, but still holding it. Ashley trying to dive round on the inside, making it a lot slower, and now they're heading up to Maggots and Beckett's. Ashley is still looking for this one, but they're slowing each other so much down. You can see the big red Bentley of Laundry has just got a huge amount of room caught up on them there. That was a bit too aggressive from Ashley, throwing away a load of time and now putting this Bentley right on his back. So if he makes any more mistakes while trying to overtake the car in front, he might be losing that 2nd position.
Indeed. But we saw the Bentley had a bit of trouble with the grip going into the first corner. I mean, it's a bit too early for tire wear issues. Maybe they're just not running a high grip, a high downforce setup. Because the car is not supposed to oversteer into the corner. Not even the Aston.
Yeah, and now he is really losing even more time, because without even having to make a mistake to Christian, Mark Anthony behind him in the 711 Bentley is pushing him, making him go a little bit defensive. So they're coming out through loop.
Ooh, I sense drama. The Bloomfield car is gonna get a 5-second penalty at some point.
Oh, and the red Bentley is really, really harassing him now. He's gone out wide. The Bentley just putting his nose in there, hasn't managed to get past. It looked like a really good opportunity there, but I think there might have been a little touch, and so the Bentley might have pulled out after that, not wanting to make any mistakes that could get him and his team in trouble. This is all letting Mayer just slowly pull away. Lumpfield even going defensive into Magnus and Beckers there, it looked like, unless he was just taking a very central line.
So 240 is not getting a penalty, apparently. For reasons. So, 3 guys in very close proximity. And Eldorado not that far behind in 4th. I mean, it's only been 40 minutes, but we still have a race in our hands. In race 2, just to bring it up, we also have a close race with car number 14 only being a second ahead of car number 237 and only 7 seconds behind car number 690. And we're just sizing up Bloomfield now.
Yep. This battle just absolutely continuing to rage. We have a few more people who are giving little fights down the field that we shouldn't leave just because the fight at the front is so interesting. We have Urek69 who is still on the tail of 250, Afik Farid. These guys are having a great little tussle between the two of them there. Then behind them, that big pack that we were admiring for a while has broken up, but Solchrome is still following Brioche. These were the middle two of that pack. Jack Taylor, who was on that pack, is now with a different pack, and he's got 2 Bentleys behind him now rather than in front of him. 2 very similar liveried Bentleys here in the 100 and 101. Probably actually the exact same livery, aren't they? And then just behind them, Alex Johannesson keeping in on that action. Tom Tweedy, who had that incident earlier on, is leading the cars who have pit, and so that's going to be an interesting car to keep watching, because if he can keep up good times on his own back here in free air, then he might be able to be right back in this picture as soon as we have seen some of our other front runners pitting.
The first lap cars are happening after all. Greytrix is actually right behind the Landry Bloomfield battle. Greytrix, who isn't exactly a slow eater.
No, not many of the people who I recognize from the server are slow guys. We've got mostly silvers and golds from our regular split. They are the Saturday and Sunday events. Oh, Edgar Urek getting real close there, making Afik Farid feel like he needs to defend going down the Wellington Straight. I need to check that I'm pulling these straights the right names.
Well, this is an airport straight. Or something, I don't know.
The other cars we can have a look at here, some more battles going on. The McLaren getting very close to the back of the Bentleys here. Always uncomfortable being in the middle of a situation like this, because you'll have to think about both where you can attack and keeping as close behind the car in front, but also you can't leave too much room for the car behind to come in. I was giving it the right name. That's good. I'm happy with that.
Then you just get hit at some point.
Yes, very easy to find yourself in contact with cars either side of you like this.
I don't want to say it being a negative Nancy, but car number 68 with Champ shows up a lot in the steering sheet.
Now he's on his own right now, but was in quite a thick little pack there for quite a while.
Yeah, with brioche. But basically, car number 68 is, I mean, it's his third warning, I think. He's been given.
So that means he's right on the edge of getting a time penalty if he makes any more small incidents.
One penalty, but I mean, it's not always him that's at fault, but I mean, he certainly is in the thick of it.
Yeah.
And there comes the penalty, and yeah.
A lot of pit stops to go, obviously, in this race, so a lot of time for these guys to take their penalties.
Right, not even 1/6 through. Now, I do have to say that I kind of wish we could be watching the Server 2 race as well, because it's still 4 guys within 10 seconds of each other in the front.
Nice.
So, I mean, that's also fun.
We're actually getting a bit of a fight here now between the two Bentleys. We have the 100 and the 101 Bentley. They're actually getting followed by Butterman there. Butterman, actually, he doesn't care that he's not on the same lap as these guys. He is just diving through them as they got a bit side by side. They're losing the back a little bit, but keeping it in there. He's now side by side with the 101 car. He's taken that first position, is trying to get ahead of these guys, and he does. Nice pull into the braking zone there. And we'll see if he can. We'll see if he can pull away from the two Bentleys ahead of him.
I would suppose the Bentleys are teammates. I mean, it's the same car and same color, right?
It is the same livery that they are both running. As they are now coming into the loop, and this the Butterman car ahead, the green McLaren. As long as he can pull away, he won't be having any issues. But if he starts getting caught by the Bentleys behind, there's going to be some very upset people, as there always are when you have race drivers involved. But
anyway, Tom Tweedy in car number 829 is taking his second pit stop.
Interesting. So I'd assume that this might be their first driver change, as he already obviously took a pit stop for damage.
We'll see. But no, I think Tweedy actually stays in the car, but he's down to 3 pit stops.
Yeah, he's taken a lot of them already. Which means that he's not going to be on the same lap racing anyone for a long time, and he's come out right in the middle of this battle that we were just watching. You can see there the 101 Bentley, who's fallen away from his compatriot just ahead. And yeah, this is interesting. It's going to put it so that you have a look at the sheets to see his team. He does have 2 other drivers, so they're getting to the point now where some of them are just going to have to do long stints with no pit stops. And obviously, in a long race like this, it's dangerous to not have any mandatory pit stops yet, because you don't want to have to do a stop for damage if you have used all your mandatories.
But I mean, I think it's a tactical choice because they also have Jack Harvey, and he's fast.
That is true.
Like, he gets enough clean air, he'll be running the same pace as the front runners, but just without being there.
So here we're looking at Van Hook, who's being pressured by Julian Strasser and the Bentley behind him, trying to keep up with Alex Johansson ahead. But as we said, being in the middle of one of these little packs of three is always tricky because he drives a little bit defensive just to keep Strasser behind him. And that's going to put him out of reach of Johansson ahead.
Indeed.
And we have a guest into the booth now. Dan Terry is going to come and give me a little bit of a break, as obviously it is a long event. But before we get into letting you take over the commentary, Dan, how has the race been so far for your guys?
It's been good. I mean, we had a phenomenal start, and then I think Ash went from 11th to 2nd or 3rd within a couple, like the first 2 laps. Had a bit of a bonkers start. One of the cars that we were side by side with got a better start than the car they were in front of, so got put into the start-finish wall under green flags. But I mean, it's all settled down now a little bit, and we're getting there slowly. Everyone's finding their rhythm. Had a nice little battle with Alvaro in the 420 Aston Martin. But no, we're getting there. It's getting there. We're slowly poodling on. I'm just looking to set the stream up in the background, so I'll let you guys carry on, and I'll give you a message when we can go to an ad break and swap over.
Yeah, absolutely, sure.
Now we got a single penalty actually.
Yeah.
Speeding in the pits, and also murdering a cone.
Absolutely, just saw that one. That is not something you want to see. That's going to be a whole extra pit stop coming in for the number 62 Bentley.
Yeah.
Small little mistake, but that's really going to ruin their race, unfortunately. Obviously a long time, so if they can keep up the pace, they can claw some of this back. But
we know from experience that the consistent guys aren't going to drop time.
Yeah.
Anyway, Alvarado is in the pits now. This is the first of the majors.
Yes, first of our front runners, apart from Tom Tweedy, who obviously had to come in for damage, but was up there before he started, falling back the field a little bit. Nicholas Alvarado behind the pack of 4, who was really leading the race, is going to hop in and perhaps change his driver. We're coming to the end of the first hour, so this is going to be where some of the tanks are going to start running dry. In the next sort of 10-20 minutes or so, we're going to see a huge rush of people pitting.
I'm ready to go whenever you are, my friend.
Okay. Do you want to, since you're just going to be here for an hour, do you want to switch over the broadcasting or just chat over my footage for a bit? Which do you think will be easier?
We can switch over just to test it out, can't we? We haven't done that in a while, so we can see how it's going to go.
Okay,
so for guys watching the stream, the stream's going to drop and it's going to come back about 30 seconds later. So we're going to hit you with a quick ad break as we swap over broadcasters. And then we'll be back while Gareth goes and gets himself a little bit of a break. And then we'll go from there. So thank you very much, Gareth, for doing the first hour.
Yep, no problem.
And I will press start now.